And for me, there was this loving, giving, nurturing, supporting, embracing being of light and love. That was my experience.
So some religious interpretations will have you believe that God is angry and judgmental. Does that fit your experience?
Not at all. Mine was an experience of all-embracing love and light, acceptance, and I guarantee on this earth I have not lived the perfect life, but in that space, place, beingness, I was totally accepted and part of it, and one with it. So there was no judgment.
In my experience, sitting literally in the lap of God, I was directed to look at my life like so many pictures on the floor from a photo album that had been dropped. I would look at my life and remember experiences. And I would relive experiences, some of which I was very ashamed of. And the response from God was something overwhelmingly amazing. God turned to me when I said, "I'm sorry, that was bad." The answer was, it was neither good nor bad in the truer sense. It was a lesson for your learning. Are you through? And that shocked me because I grew up with the image of a judgmental, not necessarily a vengeful God, but a judgmental. And this, I thought, Judgment Day. And I didn't have a sense of judgment other than it allowing me to know that there are consequences to my behavior, but there are no emotional attachments from my Creator as to how I respond.
So,
did I say that clearly enough?
I think so.
Okay.
Very clear. So the word sin, what does that mean to you?
Sin is missing the mark. That's not the definition that I grew up with. I grew up in a very strict Catholic home. My mother was a member of the Church of England, and went to the Methodist Church in this country because there wasn't a Church of England here. But it was a very strict home, and you know, if you sinned, you had to confess your sin, you had to do a penance. In the Catholic religion, there's something called purgatory, and so it's like a place you go when you haven't been really good, but you haven't been really bad either, and but you can never reach heaven from there. And my experience was not really like that. Sin is missing the mark. It's just not quite hitting right, and then you have a chance to do it again, or do it again, or do it again, until you finally get it right. So sin is missing the mark.
And for me, the idea that I had been a sinner, or I had sinned, weighed very heavy on my heart until my near-death experience, when I really felt totally accepted, forgiven, and almost experiencing a sense of not pity, but compassion from my Creator, saying, I only want you to know that you are loved and accepted as you are. And I believe that we carry a burden when we believe that there is such a thing as original sin. That's not the case. We were given and have freedom of choice to create experience every time we take a breath. And how we radiate love and acceptance will determine how we experience a response from that radiation. So that's my answer to sin.